Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be talking about sustainable swag.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all that stuff businesses give out as like promos.
Right.
And we're going to look at why some companies are starting to ditch like the old, pens and stress balls for some stuff that's, a little more earth friendly.
Well, it's a really interesting shift, I think. We're moving past just slapping a logo on something.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more about making choices that show what a brand cares about. Mm-hmm. And sustainability is like a really big part of that now.
For sure. So, okay, let's talk specifics. Have you ever heard of wildflower seed bombs? I found this idea like while getting ready for this deep dive. And I gotta say, if someone gave me those instead of another like cheap plastic thing, I'd be so happy. I mean, who doesn't like, a little color and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even just about how it looks. It's like a deeper connection to being sustainable. When you give those wildflower seed bombs, you're actually helping the local environment. It's kind of like a gift that keeps giving. You get these pollinators like bees and butterflies coming around, and they're super important for a healthy, ecosystem.
That's so true. And I was thinking almost everyone has like a garden or at least a window box or even just like a couple of pots. It's something that like pretty much anyone can use and enjoy.
Right.
I bet you're even like picturing some of those flowers right now.
Yeah. It's such a strong image. And that's what makes it so smart, from like a marketing perspective. It's different from those, typical promo items that just end up in a drawer. Mm-hmm. These wildflowers are like a living advertisement. Every time someone sees those flowers, they think of the company that gave them the seeds.
It's like a little reminder of the brand, but in a good way.
Yeah.
It's connected to something bigger than just, getting more customers. I mean, some people might still say it's advertising, but this feels different, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that difference shows that people are thinking more about this stuff. Yeah. People are starting to ask, is this thing I'm getting actually worth it? What kind of impact does it have? A lot of those old promo items just get forgotten, or even worse, end up in a landfill. This is about more than just, making someone happy for a minute. It's about giving something that actually reflects what both the giver and the receiver care about.
So it's like a win-win. The business shows that they care about the environment, and the person gets something nice that makes them happy.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that there are different levels of, sustainability, like with those seed bombs, for example. What kind of seeds are they using? Where do they get them? Are they native to the area? Is the packaging made from recycled stuff?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. It helps us all think about what really makes something sustainable. It's not just the final product, It's like the whole process, right?
Definitely. So when you're thinking about sustainable swag, you got to look at the materials, how it was made, and what happens to it in the end.
Okay, so we've talked about how those wildflower seed bombs are a good idea, and we started talking about what sustainable really means. But you mentioned that there are like different levels of sustainability. Are there other options that fall under that, sustainable swag umbrella?
Yeah, there are tons.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see how creative companies are getting. Let's think beyond the garden for a second and think about everyday things, like reusable shopping bags made from recycled materials.
Oh, yeah, those are so useful. You can never have too many of them.
For real. And they also like make a statement. And then there are things like bamboo utensils for people who are always on the go. Or what about plantable pencils? You use them until they're too short, and then you plant them and they grow herbs or wildflowers. That's awesome. That's like companies are finally realizing that they can give people something they'll actually use and still do something good for the planet.
Yeah, totally. Imagine if that became like the normal thing. Instead of landfills full of junk, we'd have a world where even like the little things are helping the environment.
That's the goal, right? And it's not as impossible as it sounds. I think there's like a ripple effect happening. When one company starts doing things sustainably, it inspires others to do it too.
Yeah, it's like setting a new standard.
Yeah.
And I think people are a big part of that shift too. They're getting more picky about the brands they support. And they want to spend their money with companies that share their values.
Oh, absolutely. There was this study I saw recently. It showed that people, especially younger people, are actively looking for brands that care about the same things they do. They want companies to be honest and authentic and to actually try to make a positive impact.
So it's not just a trend. It's like a fundamental change in how businesses operate and how people make decisions. But how do companies actually do this? Like, where do you even start if you want to switch to sustainable swag?
Well, the good news is there are more and more resources out there now. And this article we're looking at today has some pretty solid advice. It suggests working with suppliers who offer like private label options.
Oh, so you can put your own branding on those eco-friendly things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine like wildflower seed bombs with your company logo and a little message about sustainability, or reusable bags with a design that reflects your brand. It's about telling a story that people will connect with.
Yeah, and that kind of customization. It helps you tell your brand story in a way that feels real and impactful. It's more than just giving someone a gift. It's about sharing your values and connecting with people on a deeper level.
It's like you said before, it's about moving beyond just buying and selling and creating something that actually means something.
I'm really glad we did this deep dive. It's made me think about all the possibilities and how even something as simple as a promotional item can make a difference.
And it's not even just about businesses. This is something that everyone can do. We all have the power to make better choices in our daily lives, like using a reusable water bottle or buying things that are made locally. Those little things can add up and create real change.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners?
I think it's that you have a chance to not only promote your business, but also promote a better way of doing things. You can be a leader in your industry and show other businesses that it's possible to be successful and sustainable. Remember, every choice you make matters, even something as small as a promotional giveaway. It's like you're voting for the kind of world you want to live in.
I love that. It's empowering to think that we all have the power to make a difference.
We do. And it doesn't have to be super complicated or anything. Just ask yourself some simple questions. What's important to me? What kind of impact do I want to have? And then start taking action, even if it's just one step at a time.
Yeah, instead of thinking of it as like a burden or something, it's a chance to express yourself and connect with people and be a part of something bigger.
Exactly. It's about realizing that our choices have an impact, even the little ones.
We've talked about so much cool stuff today. Those wildflower seed bombs, the reusable bags, the plantable pencils. It's amazing how many options are out there.
Yeah, and it just shows that people are really starting to care about this. They're demanding sustainable solutions, and businesses are listening.
And that's what's going to make a difference. So, okay, I have one last question for you, our listener. Imagine you're at a conference, and someone hands you a promotional gift.
Okay.
Would you rather get something typical, you know, the kind of thing that ends up in a drawer somewhere?
Right.
Or would you want something that's actually good for the planet? Something that makes the world a little bit better?
It's a tough question. It really makes you think about your priorities.
It does, and it's a choice we all have to make. As consumers, as business owners, it all comes down to what we value and what kind of future we want.
Well said.
We hope this deep dive has given you some new ideas and maybe even inspired you to make some changes in your own life.
We all have the power to make a difference.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive